Finally hit 20,000 miles on the bike, and I noticed that the chain is at the end of its life cycle, so I went ahead and changed it out for the 520 kit here. I kept it in stock teeth size, but I didn't want to, kind of reap the rewards of going down a pitch, which is the 520. And so far, I like it. I kind of went with I'm thinking the Super Sprox Stealth sprocket. And then I have this one neat little front sprocket right here. It's from BPP. And when I first saw this, I was like, wow, that is a really nice mint looking front sprocket, and I just had to have it. So I called the guys up and I bought it. I think it was like about 80 bucks at the time. And at the same time, I also ordered the rear sprocket from BPP. Now, not too long ago, they had some recalls on that sprocket because a couple of guys who are in a group have posted up on their timelines that their sprockets had failed on them. And that rear sprocket, of course, it was bound to fail because it was ridiculously light. It was a light sprocket. I think it was like about I'm gonna say just a little over a pound. And I was kind of reluctant on throwing on the sprocket because I did buy the sprocket last year, early of last year, in hopes of doing the 520 conversion a little bit earlier. But because it was so thin, I kind of held off on it. I kind of wanted to see what other people thought of it first, because not a lot of people are running this sprocket setup. Because you see a lot of guys in the track, those are the ones that you want to get the advice from as far as, these products last, and apparently, with two incidences, I had to say no. I'm not going to run that sprocket, so I did a little shopping around, and the guy who I bought the rear sprocket from, who was buying from BPP at the time, he offered me this rear sprocket from Super Sprox, and I like how it looks, but there's only one discrepancy. The sprocket is heavier than stock. Now, when people go down pitch size, the goal is to cut down on weight, and which helps out with rotational mass and unsprung weight and whatnot. All that. A simple Google search, and it'll tell you why people do the 520. So I kind of found it counterintuitive, putting on the sprocket when it's maybe like 3 or 4 ounces heavier than stock, and I tried to look for a 520 pitch, stock rear sprocket. Maybe I was thinking at the time that GYTR had one, but to no avail. And it was a good sprocket too. And when I weighed them back to back, I was really, really surprised, and I was like, oh man, that sucks. So now I'm kind of stuck with this one. So at the moment, I'm kind of weighing down my options as to what the next sprocket's gonna be, so I can go ahead and try it out and see how I like it. On my last bike, I had a driven sprocket. I think it was aluminum. I'm not sure. I had done it when I did the Marchesini wheels on the L7, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. I went from, but I still kept the 530 pitch for the 07. But it felt great. So I'm gonna go ahead and see. Maybe I might go back to driven, get a steel sprocket from those guys. But other than that, the bike runs really good. It's definitely a little bit more faster response and whatnot. I find it a little bit easier to do a wheelie, which is always fun. And you know what? It just looks good. It's different. I know a lot of people don't rock this front sprocket. I don't see a lot of people do that. and it just looks really really good, you know. And then the chain too, which is from my um, just this is just me. I think the most performance I'm getting really is just the fact that yes, it is a 520, but because I refreshed the drive line, you know, because I was running an old chain and it was already at the end of its life cycle, and you know, I think that's where most of the performance is coming from, you know. So uh, I went ahead and took a dive. I changed everything out, and you know, and it's really good. I really do recommend the 520 conversion. Uh, doesn't matter what kind of chain sprocket combo you go with, you know, you probably yield the same results, if not better, you know, because this this guy weighs a lot. Compared to stock, it weighs quite a bit, you know. And it's funny because it's a steel outer ring with an aluminum core. So I'm like, I thought they would make a difference, and obviously not. But the chain is a ZVMX D.I.D chain. I ran this with my '07, and it lasted quite a bit. Because I logged in maybe like 40,000 miles on that bike, and the chain was still going strong, you know, because I had put in the chain and sprocket like at 20,000 miles as well. And uh, uh, last I remember, you know, I wasn't really too worried about the longevity of the chain and whatnot, but my bike got stolen. So, but you know, I went ahead and went back with the D.I.D ZVMX. You know, I got it on special at motorsport.com, and this one was, I mean, when you find them in other places, they sell for like 150 to $180. This one here costed me $123 because I donated one to the Fallen Riders Association and whatnot. Yeah, I donate, but it was a, for me it's a steal because I was expecting to pay like 180 and whatnot. You guys might find bigger, better chains. For me, I love this chain. It's never failed me. Um, the EK3D, I was thinking about that one, but I was like, no, it's a little too expensive and overkill for what it is, you know. So, all in all, once it breaks in and everything like that, it's just gonna run smoothly regardless of what chain, you know, you go with, and depending on how you keep up with it. You know, I like to keep up with my chain and sprockets, you know, like every month at least, because I only take out the bike like about once a week now, and I take it out for maybe 20-mile rides. So, you know, that's I'd say that's sufficient enough, you know, maintenance for the chain and whatnot. But I really do recommend the 520 setup. You know, I should have done this with my '07. I know it would have been really awesome given that I had really low unsprung weight with the wheels and whatnot. And I really do recommend the 520 conversion. You guys want to go up maybe a couple teeth in the rear and minus one in the front, because that's what a lot of the guys do. I just wanted to keep it stock for, you know, because I'm kind of used to it by now, the long gearing. But I think I might buy another one of these, only without one tooth, you know. So I'm gonna lose a tooth in the front and then keep the rear stock, because that's one of the things I did with my '07, and I liked it. The wheelies came a little bit easier, and but that's about it. Hope you liked this video. Oh, another thing, when I got this bike back, and I was kind of scared because the guy who did the chain and sprocket, I should have done this myself, but you know, at the time I did not have a rear stand, so you know, I went ahead and did that. But let me tell you something. Never trust the mechanics you send your bikes to, or any vehicle for that matter, especially when you yourself are mechanically inclined. Um, Double check the work, because what happened to me was um, it was out of alignment. The wheel was out of alignment because I was maybe going like 110 miles per hour, kind of leaning maybe 30 degrees, whatnot, and it started bucking. The rear suspension was not loading properly, and it was just bucking under lean, and it was just dangerous. So you know, just with anything, for everything that you send the mechanics, with the mechanics, anything that you send, double check the work, because you never know. Like in my case, you know, I had to readjust the chain, and of course the axle went out because it was off by a lot. Okay. All right, but if you have any suggestions on chain sprocket, or in this case a rear sprocket, go ahead and drop me a comment in the comment section, and I'll give it a look see. All right, peace.